When Earth spoke as one. 10,000 years ago, the time before division, long before the world was carved into nations, before language was bound to paper, and fire was trapped in metal, the Earth sang a different song. It was a time when humans, gorillas, wolves, elephants, and countless other creatures shared the land not just as neighbors, but as kin. In the vast, fertile valley of Omura, where waterfalls whispered secrets into the wind, a unique tribe known as the Talani thrived. They were not a tribe of humans alone, but a circle, a gathering of beings bound by harmony. Each species held a voice in council. The gorillas, known as the Goru, were the memory keepers. The elephants, called Velen, bore the burdens of time and led migrations. The wolves, Kurai, were scouts and protectors. And the humans, the Yuhar, were the listeners and dreamers. Together they spoke the old tongue, a language woven from movement, scent, tone, and spirit. It was not taught, but remembered, as though all life had once known it.
For generations, the circle endured. Conflicts rose like sudden storms, but understanding quelled them before they became wars. When food was scarce, the circle hunted and foraged as one. When floods came, they built shelters together. Stories were shared beneath ancient trees, with the Goru pounding their chests in rhythm, while the Yuhar sang in voices that mimicked the birds. Younglings from different species played together. It was not unusual to see a human child sleeping curled beside a wolf pup, or a gorilla gently carrying a laughing boy on her back. Elders told of a time even older, when the great silence had threatened to erase the old tongue, but the circle had kept it alive. It began with fire. Not the fire used to warm or cook, that had always been shared. This was shaped fire, captured in stone and metal, turned into spearheads that gleamed not with warmth, but with threat. A human named Kefar, once a listener, became a divider. He had visions not of unity, but of dominion. He taught others to sharpen stone into blades, and saw the Goru's strength not as sacred, but as a challenge. With tools, the Yuhar could cut deeper, build faster, and, he claimed, rule higher. The Kurai warned of imbalance. The Velan retreated into the far plains. The Goru stood firm, but confusion grew. The old tongue began to fray. Kefar's followers grew. They believed they were chosen, not equal. They stopped attending the circle councils. They tamed wolves instead of befriending them. They built walls, first of stone, then of silence. The old tongue was abandoned, called beast chatter by the new Yuhar tribes. One day, the Goru came to council, but found no humans there. Only ashes, and a carved totem of a man standing above all animals. A final meeting was held beneath the moon tree, whose branches touched stars. Only a few humans came, those who still remembered. The Kurai sang laments. The Velen wept, a sound that shook the valley. The Goru stood in silence, mourning what had been. It was then the decision was made. Not in anger, but sorrow. The circle would dissolve. The old tongue would be buried in time until the earth itself chose to speak again. The beings went their separate ways. The Velen walked toward the mountains. The Kurai scattered into forests. The Goru vanished into the mists. The humans stayed, growing their cities, forgetting. Even today, when a child feels unspoken kinship with a wild creature, when a wolf stares at a man not with fear, but recognition, when a gorilla signs to a human and the human understands, perhaps the old tongue stirs again, hitting in our bones, waiting for a day when the circle may be mended. For once, we were not separate. We were one.
It's the king in the house with the claws.